Listen up, Bears family, because we need to have a serious talk about something that might just make your blood boil. We all know there is one name that haunts every single one of us, a signal caller who tormented our team for nearly 2 decades. But hold on to your seats, because our own franchise quarterback just dropped a bombshell opinion that is guaranteed to spark a massive debate across Chicago. You are not going to believe who he just ranked as the second best quarterback in NFL history. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below before we dive in. Caleb Williams has sparked a fresh wave of conversation within the Windy City by naming Aaron Rodgers as the second best quarterback in NFL history. This declaration stands in direct contrast to the long-standing sentiment held by the Chicago Bears fan base, which historically despises the veteran quarterback. Throughout his 18-year tenure with the Green Bay Packers, Rodgers maintained an overwhelming 25-5 record against Chicago, a dominance that included a pivotal victory in the 2010 NFC Championship game. The tension between the player and the fan base was cemented in 2017 when Rodgers famously shouted, "I own you, I still own you," after a touchdown. Rodgers later remarked that the moment was prompted by a spectator in the front row, giving him the middle finger, leading to his impulsive reaction. Despite this turbulent history, Caleb Williams remains vocal about his admiration for the future Hall of Famer. During an event for EA Sports following his selection as the cover athlete for Madden 27, Williams articulated his personal rankings to heavy sports. He placed Tom Brady in the top spot, citing his 7 Super Bowl titles as an untouchable standard, before definitively selecting Aaron Rodgers as his number 2. This is not a new position for the young signal caller, as he had previously identified Rodgers as his top-ranked quarterback back in 2024. For supporters who have spent nearly 2 decades watching Rodgers dominate their team, hearing the current face of the franchise praise him represents a jarring disconnect. The history of rivalry and the specific quotes exchanged on the field make this particular ranking a subject of significant discussion, forcing fans to reconcile their personal disdain with the objective accolades of a storied opponent. Bear down. The admiration expressed by Caleb Williams for Aaron Rodgers is rooted in the impressive statistical resume the veteran has compiled over his extensive 21-year professional career. While the Chicago Bears fan base primarily remembers the frustration of those losses, Williams is clearly looking at the objective accomplishments that define the quarterback's legacy. Rodgers has secured 4 MVP awards, 10 Pro Bowl selections, and 4 first-team All-Pro honors, a collection of hardware that justifies his status among the elite in NFL history. Even the singular Super Bowl title from 2010, while often highlighted as the extent of his championship success, remains a significant career achievement that Williams clearly values. Despite the fact that Rodgers has not reached another championship game since that 2010 season, his consistency and technical prowess remain the central focus for Williams in his evaluation. By prioritizing these career milestones, the current quarterback is focusing on the technical evolution and longevity that have kept Rodgers relevant for over 2 decades. It is a strictly professional appreciation that ignores the localized narrative of the Packers-Bears rivalry. This perspective highlights a difference in approach between the supporters, who are shaped by specific game outcomes and emotional outbursts, and the player, who evaluates opponents based on career-long performance metrics and talent. Williams is not swayed by the "I own you" mentality that defines the fan experience. Instead, he views the history between the organizations as a separate matter from the individual skill set of the quarterback. Whether or not the supporters agree with this assessment, the numbers backing Rodgers are substantial, providing a factual foundation for the high opinion that Caleb Williams holds regarding the veteran's place in the history of the sport. Why does this matter right now for the team? The commentary provided by Caleb Williams serves as a bridge between 2 different eras of NFL football, even if it creates friction with the local fan base. For the Chicago Bears, the focus remains on the current season and their own offensive growth, yet this public ranking underscores how the next generation of players views the legends of the game. It matters because it highlights that the current roster is not beholden to the same historical bitterness that defines the supporters' relationship with the Green Bay Packers. The veteran quarterback is nearing the end of his career, with reports indicating that he plans to retire after the 2026 season. This means that the influence he has had on young players like Williams is the final chapter of his impact on the league's culture. By ranking him so highly, the leader of the Chicago offense is signaling a respect for the craft that transcends the colors of the jerseys worn during the rivalry. For the team, this does not change the on-field execution or the tactical preparation for upcoming opponents, but it does illustrate the mindset of their signal caller. He is focused on the highest standards of the position, regardless of which teams those standards were set by historically. While fans might prefer a different sentiment regarding their arch-rival, the professional reality is that the current locker room is detached from the specific history of the 2010s. This distinction is vital as the team works to build its own legacy in the NFC, separate from the shadows of the past, focusing instead on internal improvement and the pursuit of their own accomplishments in the modern era of the sport. Looking at the schedule for the 2026 season, the Chicago Bears will not have an opportunity to square off against Aaron Rodgers on the field. The current veteran signal caller is a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the two teams are not scheduled to meet in the regular season. This eliminates any possibility of a dramatic showdown or a chance for the team to address the historical losses directly. The last time the two organizations faced one another was in 2025, but the veteran quarterback did not participate in that game due to an injury, sparing the match from becoming a direct confrontation. Because the veteran has made it clear that he intends to walk away from the NFL once this current season concludes, the window for another matchup is effectively closing. The only potential scenario where they could meet is a highly improbable Super Bowl appearance for both franchises, which remains a distant and unlikely possibility at this stage of the year. For those who harbor resentment toward the former Packers leader, this means the opportunity to settle the score on the gridiron is essentially gone. The discourse surrounding the rankings provided by Caleb Williams is therefore purely conversational, lacking the weight of a pending game or a tactical rivalry. It exists in the vacuum of off-field interviews and professional opinions. The team remains focused on their own trajectory, and with the veteran's retirement looming, the focus will soon shift away from his legacy entirely. The narrative of his impact on the team is concluding, making the current debate one of the final points of contention before he departs the league permanently at the end of this year. The divergence in opinion between the fan base and Caleb Williams serves as a reminder of how time and experience shape the perception of professional athletes. While the Chicago Bears supporters remain anchored to the years of frustration that Aaron Rodgers caused, the young quarterback is looking at the history of the league through the lens of a player studying the greats who came before him. This difference in perspective is a natural byproduct of how memory functions in sports. The supporters carry the collective weight of the losses, the double bird incidents, and the verbal taunts that defined the Packers-Bears dynamic for nearly 2 decades. Conversely, Williams views the career of the veteran as a case study in excellence, citing the MVP awards and the statistical consistency as the markers of greatness that he aspires to reach himself. It is a fundamental difference between being a witness to a rivalry and being a student of the game's evolution. As we reach the final stages of the veteran's career, these rankings are merely a footnote to a legendary tenure. Whether the supporters find the ranking difficult to accept or not, it remains an objective evaluation from a player whose own career is just beginning. The focus of the team will remain on the current season and the path forward in 2026. Leaving the history with the former Packers and current Steelers star in the rearview mirror. By the time the season ends and the retirement announcement likely follows, the debate over his legacy will be replaced by the focus on the future of the league. Ultimately, the history remains recorded in the books, but the narrative is shifting as a new generation of players assumes the mantle, looking toward their own future achievements instead of the ghosts of the past.